what is your standpoint on the Romini and the Vetrano blacklisting topics that were brought up at the last Dons meeting?
Well, to touch on Rimini, obviously, anyone who's been around this community for a while knows what Rimini's reputation is. There's been a lot of accusations thrown around. They conduct themselves in a certain way in this community that has kind of isolated them. They've always been doing their own thing. They have their own ideas about the way this shit should go. Truth be told, they pretty much disrespect everybody. They don't really conduct themselves the way you'd think a mafia would. You know, coming into meetings, humping on people, not really taking things seriously, constantly starting beef in the Discord. Uh,
Yeah.
there's been a lot of accusations, and certain proof has come to light. I mean, we're not blessed, right? So we can't vote on the topic. But if we could, I think there was enough evidence provided that a blacklist should be considered.
Okay.
There's other families in this community that have been blacklisted over the exact same things.
Yeah. Is that all you have to say on the Romini topic?
I mean, that's really all I got to say about it. Like, I've never talked to a Ramini in a party, never sat down with them. I don't really necessarily reach out to smaller families. I don't really see that they've done anything to help us out along the way. And truth be told, I don't know necessarily they bring anything to the community that's helping to grow it or benefit it, really.
Okay. Okay. Don Ruscio, do you want to touch on the Vetrano topic?
So I think with the Vetrano topic, I think that it should have been. I think they should have came back. I think the vote should have passed because it would have brought like activity back. It would have made things like fun again. You know what I mean? I think they served their time with being blacklisted. I know they kicked everyone out who was doing the doxing and the booting. So I feel like they should have came back. You know what I mean? I think it would be good for the community too because it's gonna bring all those guys back. It's gonna keep everyone on their toes, and no one's gonna get lazy. So I feel like it would have been a good thing. I
Yeah.
say so myself.
And another thing that was pretty fucking weird was the way that the boats switched up. They were floating and then they sank, you know? So I don't know what's going on there, but it was definitely an interesting
that's
thing
it.
to watch.
Well, that's at the end of the day, everybody has their reasons for doing that, and backdoor deals and promises can always be made. Um, Everyone has their own family's interest at heart, right? So
Hmm.
whenever something controversial happens like that, that gives power to people who have votes, power to ask for favor in the future, etc. Who can really say exactly what happened or why it happened, but it did. So now here we are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Kuru, what's your stance on the topic of that?
On the Vetrano.
Yeah, Toronto Romini, you have anything
Um,
to say?
I said on the Vetrano. Nothing said about Ramini. I personally don't have a problem with Ramini. I didn't really look into too much on the topic, but I don't know. I was in the party with Vetrano while all that voting was going down, especially with their hierarchy. They personally seemed alright. I know that they were telling me personally that they cut everybody out who was doing all that. And I mean, you said that they did serve their time, right, for blacklisting?
They've been blacklisted. I'd say for what, like 3 months now,
Yeah,
right?
it's been a
Somewhere
little
around
bit,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. If say I was blessed and I had the vote, I mean, I would have just said unblacklist them, as long as everybody was out who like was involved in that toxicity and whatnot.
Hmm.
That's my personal opinion.
Okay. And if everybody has enough said on this topic, we're going to move on to blessing requirements of the community. Do do you guys think that it's enough what we have right now? Do you think it's too hard? Do you think it's too easy? What's your take on that, Rusio?
So I agree with the 6 months period, but I think the families should have to be active. I'm talking about like every day. You know, you should see them in turf wars, freedom wars, whack lobbies, and I think they should have to more than just 10 GTs. I think it should be about around 30 because put it this way, you don't want some small little family who's not doing much for the community coming in, making votes for the community and stuff like that, altering on what can happen. I think there should be a better presence before they get to vote on stuff like that.
Hmm. I agree. Sans, anything you want to say?
No, I agree fully, right? At the end of the day, the Blessing Council exists essentially to kind of guide the community and keep it, keep it positive for the people playing in it. And if the Blessing Council or the blessed families don't represent, the majority of the actual players in the community, it just turns into GTA 5 Don's Meeting Edition. Um,
Hmm.
which is kind of tough when you have essentially the power to affect change in the community.
Okay. So the next topic on the list that we have is how would Ruscio fix the community? What steps would you take to make the community better?
Well, I'm gonna tackle this one because in order to fix the community, quote unquote, first we have to determine what's wrong with the community. Um, at the end of the day, I think the biggest issue the community has is it's kind of stagnant. The mafia community has a reputation not just within itself, but across GTA in general. In a day and age where online gaming and gaming communities and all these platforms like Discord and Captus and all of these things are coming out, really the mafia community is one that when a lot of people join, they don't stick around. They see the way shit's run and they usually just say, nah, not for me. Um, I think that we kind of need to go back to a certain level of respect. We have to get to that point where, you can shoot at people in the lobby, you can have wars with them, take turf from them, be on different sides, but all this doxing and DDoSing and programs and honestly racism and all these like really vile kind of behaviors that happen only serve to kind of bring the community down and detract from what it originally was, which is supposed to be fun, competitive mafia shit. Right now, it just seems like it's sweats and suits. It's a bunch of kids with some scripts and some programs that they downloaded doing some weird shit that just I don't really think belongs here. Especially if we want to grow and we want to see more families and we want to take the community towards something that could really be beneficial. Why don't we get a website popping? Why don't we grow this community? Find ways to get a YouTube channel, get shit monetized. Who knows? Like, this community could be so much more.
Correct. I agree with that. I agree with that. I just dropped my fucking phone. We could do a lot to help the inactivity of the community along with other, internal structural issues that we have going on. Now, one thing is, so many people have come and gone trying to fix this community. It's basically only made it worse. They've done stuff that they think
Yeah.
is helping, and it's different morals.
See,
Well, that's
along
the
with the.
thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you continue since you were talking.
Well, I was just gonna say that there's this fine line between, we've got this cake that everyone wants a piece of, right? And anytime people come in and they start having some good ideas and maybe the community starts to quote unquote be getting fixed a little, there's that temptation they have to just eat the whole fucking cake, and everyone's fighting over it. No one's just trying to bake a new fucking cake. Like why not put some shit into place to get rid of the biggest complaint people have in this community is always what? Bias and corruption, right? The
Yes.
rules are always something that people debate over. And yet at the same time, people are very glued to what the rules are and what they should be. We don't play test new ideas. We've never tried to come up with some mutual decisions. I mean, we can even look at turf wars, right? Turf wars right now are based on rules. A lot of this community, there's certain rule sets that benefit families in very specific ways that have made turf wars more or less. It's going to happen. Certain families are going to get 26 for it. We've talked about 15v15 lobbies. You got families turning off rooftops, turning off helicopters, turning off boats, this and that. Vehicles for transportation. They're doing everything they can to manipulate the rules to give them a win. And at no point has the community sat down and been like, hey, maybe we should just look at the state of the community and the rules and figure something out that would keep things competitive. Figure something out that would get people out of their compounds, get people out of their comfort zone and actually fighting again.
Hmm.
On top of that, actually, if you look in the Don's topic, someone actually kind of brought that up on what you're talking about. I can't remember who, but it was somewhere along the lines of what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
just said.
Well, yeah, and even like this is something I've been trying messing around with for a while. It's actually an idea that I stole from a role play community, a CBC community. What they did is they started using capture modes. Um, why not use something like that? It eliminates a lot of the things in the game that people don't like already. Anyways, you load in. There's no apartments, right? There's no CEO offices. There's no armored, weaponized vehicles. None of that shit. Everyone's on a pretty even playing field. And it even brings back small elements that people like but don't know how to institute, such as off the radar. It's an aspect that a lot of people enjoy. They enjoy the idea of not having to just chase blips around on a mini map the whole time, knowing where everybody is. It removes that kind of mafia assassination type vibe. In a capture mode, you actually can't see the other team on the radar until you're within, say, 50 feet of them. Even if this is something that people are like, I don't know, it sounds sus. Why aren't we just playtesting it? Why aren't we just testing it and giving feedback, honest feedback, reviewing it, and seeing if we couldn't create a mafia mode?
I actually did not think of that. That's pretty smart. That's pretty
Right?
cool. That needs
Like,
to be brought up.
Yeah, shout out to Sans though because I remember way back when I first met Ruccio, Sans made up this game mode, and it was pretty cool, and I could definitely see that being like part of the community on how things can be decided. Um, you should definitely talk about that, Sans. It was kind of fucking dope.
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
mean,
that
we
should be
only
brought
got to
up.
play test it with a couple guys. I've been pushing and trying to get some interest because I'd like to see how it would run 15v15. Because the main thing is like I don't know if this is something that could work or could be successful, but with enough people testing it and doing some little survey type action at the end, finding out what worked, what didn't, what's being abused, etc. I think we could maybe come up with some rules, and you can get pretty deep with the customization. We could have, let's say Skeletto. What's your favorite turf? What do you guys got? Where do you hang out?
Right now, they have 11G.
Yeah.
They have our very first turf.
So let's take
11G.
11G as an example, right? Say we do this, we do a turf mode, and there's a war in 11G. You can actually start the lobby so both families spawn in at the beginning of the game in 11G.
Mhm. Wow.
So everyone's always kind of talked about that, like how could we get the community to actually fight over a turf? It's like, well, you don't necessarily have to stand there, but it would be interesting to have, a capture mode made up for each turf. And when you call somebody out for that turf, both teams start there, and then you fight it out from there and see where you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that I you definitely if you brought that up in the meeting, I would definitely be all hands down for it. You got my vote. That's solid work there, guys. That's crazy. I've never seen someone bring that up. Kuru, have you?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't seen that shit in a while.
Well, I think it was like only actually added not too long ago in the creator mode. They added capture modes and a few others, and I actually didn't realize like the different customizations you could have. Because what these guys did in this RP community is they did the GTA style one. So there's a car that you have to capture, and you have to deliver the car to your capture point. Well, they just put both teams' capture points right beside each other and put the car 5 feet away. And then when they start the lobby, they put it on point limit. And then they just wouldn't end the game until they wanted to. So, you could do something like, let's say we load, it's Ruccio versus Skeletto, right? We load into the game. It's 15v15, even teams. Just make it a rule where if we kill your hierarchy, your Don, your Doc, your boss, they have to leave the lobby.
Hmm.
Once you kill everyone else can respawn and keep fighting. Once you kill all three of their hierarchy, you go to the car, you drive it through, and you win the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
it brings a bit more cat and mouse into the game. It brings
It
a bit more
does.
because like people are off the radar. There
Hmm.
is the ability in there as well. If you call Lester in that game, you can reveal the other team on the map. But we could easily make like a rule that you can only do that once every 10 minutes, or you can only do that if you kill a hierarchy member. Let's say if we kill your boss, we get one Lester call that we can use.
Hmm.
And you could use that to flush them out. And then a little bit more work goes into these wars because you have to start thinking about, like, holy fuck, where are they going to hide their hierarchy? Because if this were real life and two mafias were going to war, you're not going to have a fucking tracking bug in every person in that other family's pocket. And their Don's not just going to be ripping around, fighting, getting chased the whole time. Their Don's going to a safe house. He's getting locked down. He's hiding. You see that
Yeah.
even in just popular media. You see that if you watch The Godfather.
Hmm.
What happened? Everybody goes to the compound, locks down, locks shit down. And I
Yeah.
just think it would be more fun to explore different ideas. You have people starting up whack lobbies at this point because people just don't even go in pubs anymore. People don't go outside their apartments. It's the community needs to shift a bit.
Yeah. You're correct. Now, I hate to cut you guys off on that topic. Um,
Yep.
now the next topic is how has the Ruscio crime family helped the community so far?
So we've only been around for just a little over 3 months now. We haven't really done too much, but I think what we've been bringing in is more the more respectful and the professional side. Um, we don't talk a lot of crap. We're not like 95% of families. We're not racist, anything like that. And we just recently got turf overseers. So we're pulling our weight with that. We're trying to switch that up because everyone knows turf overseers are very, very biased. So
Hmm.
we're trying to move that out.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes. And we only recruit from outside the community. So we're constantly bringing new people in. You know what I mean? So we're adding. We're just not recruiting the same 5 guys that's been in every family. So that's what we're starting to add in is beefing up the member count.
Okay. Okay. Then that's great. That's great. I like to hear that from especially a newer family like you guys, and I see some great things for your family. So the next topic is, do you think Ruscio got it easy or hard in this community?
So, not to pivot on your question, but I don't think any new family gets it easy in this community. Um, Generally, I think the mafia tends to see new families as prey. New families don't get a lot of help. There's a lot of unspoken rules in this community, and when you reach out to people and ask questions, usually that's seen as a sign of weakness. And with all these smaller families quick to set each other up, talk shit, yada yada. Um, did we get it easy? No, we were lucky to have some people that we quickly identified were actually truthful and were there to help us and reached out and said the right things. But we put in a lot of work. If it looks like it was easy for us, that's because we did a lot of work behind the scenes to lay low, not piss off the wrong people, talk to the right people, and have options. At the end of the day, we wanted to be in a position to control our future and decide what was best for us. But it was
Hmm.
definitely not easy.
Okay. All right. And my other question is, where do you see the community in the next couple years? Could be 3, 2, 1, whatever you want to say.
So I see us on GTA 6. I think by then, hopefully, this game will not not be the only GTA out. You know what I mean? That's newer. Um, I see us getting rid of the toxicity and racism. Sorry, because again, that's gonna kill everything. But that's hopefully what I see. I mean, you can't be too hopeful because you know. But
Hmm.
hopefully, that's how it's gonna go.
Okay. And is there any family that you would like to shout out or give a thanks to, any commission, anything like that for, helping you or for your success or something like that?
Who you got, Don? I got a few.
So personally, I would like to shout out Father Lucione because at the start of Ruccio, he was the only top dog who would like help us out, teach us a lot of things. So shout out to him for basically taking us under his wing. And I would like to shout out my homie Don Joe. That is the homie for life, man.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I mean, I'm gonna shout you out, Jacob, because you've known us for quite a while, um, and you do a lot for this community. You bring a good voice to it, and you did help us out when we had questions when we very first joined. We didn't really know what we were doing. Um, I'm gonna go with a controversial one here. So this is just myself personally. I think Marvello needs a little bit of a shout out because that family has been putting in work. We might shoot at each other in lobbies. They might be on the other side of the line. But if we want to talk about fixing this community, we need to start celebrating when people do it right. They're packing lobbies. They got guys going out getting wax, and like them or not, Ty knows how to keep it respectful.
He does.
He
He's a
knows
great
how
guy.
yeah. He knows we've shot at each other before, and there's still no problems hitting him up and seeing how he's doing, and he does bring that respectfulness, which I think we need. So I see them
Exactly.
doing big things.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with your statement more, and thank you for the shout out. The next one that I want to ask you guys is, where do you see your family in the future?
I see us being blessed in 3 months because that's our 6 months requirement. Um, I see us continuing our relationship with the community as a whole, and then also with Liz Sessa. Um, then hopefully, just help building the community. To be honest, that's really
Beautiful. Yeah.
what we're looking for.
That's what I hope for. I want to see you guys succeed. I want to see you up there. I want to see. I
I
want to. I'm
do.
gonna be retiring in May. I want to come back and see Rusio. But
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Any anyway. With closing out this whole discussion and this meeting that we have here. What is your family's goal in the community? Like, is there anything that you have not stated before that you could state to us?
You want to take
Like,
this one stance?
yeah, I'm gonna tackle this one because we have a little bit of a different approach, and really, I think internally, what our goal is and what we tell our guys, what our goal in this community is. Our goal is to show people that you can get somewhere in this community by working hard and being respectful and staying fucking humble. Our goal is really to be an example of how families can come into this community, how they can grow, how they can recruit, and how they can conduct themselves to be a part of the community, so that they're not coming in and immediately trying to be fucking Al Capone, setting people up, talking all this trash,
Hmm.
causing a bunch of beef and drama, and then where the fuck are they 6 months later? Our
Exactly.
goal is to be an example, to be role models, to hopefully mend some bridges as well, to
Hmm.
encourage people that you can cross the aisle and shake a motherfucker's hand and then shoot him in the face later.
Exactly.
You don't got to be a snake 24/7.
Yep. Yep. And I
There's
agree
another
with
thing
that.
I want to.
Okay. Yeah. No. 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 Go ahead.
There's another thing I want to bring up too with coming off that topic Sam was saying that just because you're enemies doesn't mean you can't respect each other. Like for instance, we're sitting here talking. I know
Hmm.
if we see each other in a game 10 minutes later, we shoot at each other, but there's still that respect level. You know what I mean? We're not gonna sit
Hmm.
here and bicker back and forth, call each other names. We're gonna sit here and talk like civil men. What I think
Exactly.
is a big thing people need to get through their head is
Yeah,
that
even
respect is key.
even outside of GTA, like I was chilling with your party last night, bro. We're vibing. We were vibing. We were just chilling. There was no beef. Like, you just leave that shit outside of GTA.
And actually, one
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah,
I want to bring,
exactly.
yeah, beautiful. But another thing that I want to say is, last night I joined a party with you, Don Ruscio, Boss G, and Bella Lucione, and but previously I was in a party with Vinny Grotti and Vito and all of them. They all left. I had to go do some, and whenever I came back, I noticed that Vinny and Neo were sitting there laughing, talking for half an hour on the fucking Super Bowl. We're sitting there talking about sports and everything else. Families don't do that today. They don't.
No.
They've lost that level of respect. And even whenever I came in your party, we're laughing. We're chilling right now in a lobby, smoking cigars and talking about what needs to be changed. It's what we've been preaching with the fact that enemies need to stand up in this community, need to stand side by side and talk on topics that would better the community and put their beef aside. You know?
Well,